We live in the Central Valley of California, in the Fresno and Madera areas. Our valley extends from Redding down to Bakersfield, with a current population of over 6.5 million. It is estimated that by the year 2040, the valley will be home to over 12 million people. The Central Valley is one of the largest and richest agricultural producing areas in the nation, yet 1 in 5 residents still live in poverty, with few opportunities for employment and education.
El Valle Central es un lugar de contrastes sociales y políticos, pero lo que lo hace único son las personas de muchas partes del mundo: México, Laos, Pakistán, India, Europa del Este, por mencionar algunos, que viven aquí, haciendo del Valle una de las áreas más diversas étnicamente de California.
Many of us and our families came to this country to find a place where we can live with dignity and have better opportunities.
We wanted to understand the positive and negative cultural transformations that immigrants and refugees experience in their new country, as well as to what cost we have to embrace a new identity to become American.
Para contestar estas preguntas, nos embarcamos en un viaje de investigación participativa para aprender de otros y de nosotros mismos. Contactamos a algunos miembros de nuestras comunidades en repetidas veces. Escuchamos historias de pérdida cultural, sobre todo de aquellos que llegaron aquí de adultos.
These are people that work hard for this to happen, but are often subjected to criticism, reminded that they do not belong here, are a social and economic burden, and that they don't get civically engaged. Our research journey gave us the opportunity to hear people's perspective on what it means to be civically engaged. We concluded that immigrants and refugees in the Central Valley understand the importance of building a sense of belonging in order to feel like they can contribute to the political and civic life of their city.
As immigrant or indigenous communities, we are often made to feel that our cultures and languages are inferior to the mainstream American way of life. Therefore, many of us feel uneasy because the outside world often rejects the cultural struggles happening in our homes and communities. The mainstream media has often portrayed our communities in negative ways that can sometimes make us feel disgraced or ashamed to be who we are. As a result, it can make us discriminate against our own people and reject our traditions and cultures. Many immigrants and refugees feel that finding a cultural balance is important for their integration and for developing a sense of belonging.
We concluded that we, in particular immigrant youth, should not be forced or pressured to feel like we have to choose one world over the other.
Holding on to our culture does not mean we are not Americans.
It just means that new American identities are emerging and being formed by the cultures we bring.
Kuliah kan senada ne kachem zani to liya kanu ada ni kada ne si
motla de shego halu chmon ko halu chla mon jona ko halu la motla sete
Knets mezik vor voti vera kang nein kim papan karogat sab ko
There are over 6,000 languages in the world, but researchers believe that half of them may disappear within the next few decades.
Another finding from our conversations is that people whom we interviewed value cultural knowledge because it can help bring cultural balance and build a sense of belonging. Some stories told, mostly by immigrants who arrived at a young age or were born into an immigrant family, illustrate that knowing who they are changed their life and helped them become better people.
Conocer y apreciar nuestra cultura ayuda a conocer y apreciar mejor a otras culturas. Ignorar tus raíces no te hace mejor americano, pero la sabiduría sí.
Build a sense of belonging.
Find cultural balance.
Understand the power of language.
expand knowledge to shape identity.
We believe these elements will positively impact the lives of people who live in the valley. It is not about repeating the history of alienation or oppression, but about engaging in actions that seek to include immigrants and refugees in our society. It is not about telling them what they need to do, but about seeing what they are already doing and supporting their efforts.
Forming one community where many cultures conviven should be a responsibility for all citizens. Actions need to be taken inside the family. For example, parents can take a more active role in passing on their traditions to their children and teaching them about their culture. Parents should also understand that children are exposed to other cultures as well. Teaching children about their cultures can be done in a more open way instead of simply forcing them to maintain it.
Schools and other institutions should create spaces that will help immigrants develop a sense of belonging. They should be more welcoming to what immigrants bring and offer spaces for learning about them in a respectful manner. They can also provide tools, resources, and knowledge to help youth find or strengthen their cultural identities. Schools can also work with parents and children to bridge the generation gap.
We learned about ourselves, our cultures, our roots. It also brought us closer to the day-to-day struggles that immigrants and refugees face in the Central Valley, not only in trying to provide for their families, learn English, and access education, but in trying to adjust to the cultural, social, and political life of a new country.
Nothing has become clearer to us than the belief that we have the right to be ourselves. Culture is a right. It is through culture that we define who we are.